Congrats to Xavier. They came in here with phenomenal force and aggressiveness. It's a 19-point game on our home floor with about 15 to play. And that's 1,000% a testament to them and how they played. Our radio guys asked me, did Fremantle, what was the difference with Fremantle? Well, the difference was major, not only a double-double, but just the confidence that he brings to their team in conjunction with the other veterans that they have. I did think our guys showed incredible character, resiliency, fight, the stubborn mentality of not giving up. I actually thought Davion McKnight's 2 layups midway through the half after we had made a mini run were really, really powerful because they put the lead back to 14. And then, of course, we fight all the way back to make it one possession, have a couple chances to tie the game, didn't get it done.
Shaka, just that last play, what was the play design and how did you see everything play out?
Well, honestly, we had a play design and then they moved the location of the ball. There was, these basketball's gotten to the point where there's these unofficial timeouts where, there's reviews or for whatever reason stuff's not happening. So when that happened, the official was standing in the corner with the ball. So we had something we were going to do that we practiced. Then they moved it to kind of the normal 28-foot marker, and we didn't really have a lot of time to adjust. We didn't have a timeout. We got the ball to Cam, which is, what we would want to do. And then, honestly, I think it was Dalen Swain from their team made a really good play. It was either Swain or Foster. 2 guys went to Cam. Cam tried to pass it to Chase, and one of those guys got a deflection. And then from there, it was just kind of a broken play. Stevie drove. And then, again, depending on your perspective, he got the ball knocked away from him, or it was a physical play, or both. But, hats off to their guys for, making that last play.
It seemed like for you offensively, ball movement and player movement in the first half was a little stagnant. What changed in between the first half and the second half?
I think our aggressiveness is what changed. Xavier, they had a great defensive attack. They matched up with us, completely differently than size would dictate, which, we're starting to see that more and more with, at times they had Davion McKnight at about 6 feet tall guarding Ben Gold, and then they had Zach Fremantle at 6'9", 6'10", guarding Stevie Mitchell for the majority of the game. That got us on our heels to some extent. We have a plan for that, but I did think that their switching and their cross matches, certainly in the first half and even at times in the second half, got us too stagnant. To your point, not enough ball movement, not enough player movement. I did think when we were able to cut the lead down, it was because we took an aggressive mentality that, hey, when we do drive this thing, we're not going to be denied. There was too many plays for the first 2/3 of the game where we allowed Xavier's physicality, Xavier's bodies, Xavier's hands to deny us from getting where we wanted to go.
You talked a little about Fremantle at the start, but just having a guy, you have an older team yourself, having a guy as old as he is, as experienced as he is, how much kind of a difference can that make when?
Major difference. Yeah, he just has a poise about him. And, I give him a lot of credit because it is not easy to, sustain another injury and be out and then come back and try to find your rhythm. But he's done that in short order. He's done that really fast. The best way I can put it is they look like a completely different team from a confidence standpoint with him out there on the floor compared to without him.
Coach, tough week, exhausting week, but is this a good week moving forward for the second half of the Big East schedule as far as the experience and some of the things you went through?
Well, I think you got to make it a good week. I think however the week goes, if you choose to accept some of the things that occurred. When I say accept, acknowledge that they happened, and learn from them and grow from them, then it can be a good week. Was it a good week for us from the standpoint of results? No, because we won one game and we lost one game. Our expectation and what we're going after is always to win. I felt like the way that our guys were fighting and scrapping down the stretch, that we might have had, we might have had it in us to go win another one where we were behind late, but that's not a recipe long-term for, winning the games that we want to win. We've got to play better earlier in the game, and that is something that both of our games this week have in common.
Two-part question. When you only get to the free throw line 7 times, is that also their defense, or was that some things on you guys that you weren't able to do? And this might be a weird question, too, but your leadership on this team, it seemed like to rally a comeback like that, you really had to have those 3 guys in particular who stood out.
Yes. The character of those guys is Stevie Mitchell, first and foremost. And he had a very tough first half, but for him to, will us on some of those defensive possessions to get stops, I thought that, it wasn't Cam's best game, but he stayed in there from a spiritual standpoint. Ben rebounded the ball really well. I don't know that anyone on our team had their best game. That's what happens when you score 57 points, or maybe it's the other way around. But I thought particularly those 5 guys and even the guys that came off the bench showed, that's who we are. That's what we're about. Now we need to understand that to start the game, whether it's because we have Marquette on our jersey or whether it's because what our guys have done earlier in the season, man, teams are going to have a burning desire. They're going to come in here with their hair on fire. Or if we go to their place, they're going to have their hair on fire. So we better too. And, that's a tough pill that comes out of this game. And then your first question was about free throws. Honestly, these Big East games, man, the refs let you play. They're very much going to allow the players to determine the outcome of the game, or at least that's their philosophy. It's incumbent upon us to be really, really stubborn with, hey, we're going to get where we need to get. And, if we're driving the ball and you stick your hand in there to steal the ball, we got to take your hand with us. We didn't do a good enough job of that today. They got their hands on too many basketballs when we had drives and angles to the basket. I would say at least 6, maybe 8. And that was actually how the last play ended. So it's a reminder to us where we need to be better.
Like you said, Cam got going late. He's not shooting the ball particularly well in Big East play. What do you need to do to get him going?
I need to spend some time with him and rub his temples. Because, listen, this Cam Jones, man, this guy's out of this world. But he's also a human being. And he's, feeling a lot of pressure, I would imagine. He hasn't verbalized that, and he's been great in practice, and he's been an A-plus teammate, A++ and leader. But, man, there's just a lot expected of him on his shoulders. And I think right now when he rises up from outside, he's feeling the weight of some of that. Even the last one that he took, the three-point shot, we set a flare screen for him. He's wide open. He's just a little hesitant. And he's got to understand, we need you to rise up and shoot that all the way, man. If you think about it, his role has changed so much in just, the last several months. When we had Tyler and Oso here, he was a sniper, and he was a scorer, but he knew, man, I get that ball, and it's attack. And he showed during those 6 games when Tyler was out, I can play point guard. I can make decisions. He's been phenomenal with that this year. But I've got to make sure I help him understand that, hey, man, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And there's no 2 people that applies to in this program more than him and me. So we got to spend a lot of time together and help each other. There's nobody I would rather do it with. He's a special young man. And like I said, I've got a lot of faith in his character. I thought he showed a great fight down the stretch tonight.
Coach, no Zay Lowry tonight. Was wondering if there's anything else going on there. And also, how much did you feel like you guys missed him defensively on that end of the floor?
Yeah, we certainly could have used him. He's been under the weather, and he had a bad bug. I mean, this tends to happen when school starts back. We're here kind of all by ourselves during the break, and then thousands of kids come back, and it's kind of like clockwork where somebody, falls ill. So he wasn't even able to come to our facility the last 2 days. This morning's the first time I've seen him in a few days. So I didn't know that it was right to put him in that position to go in a game when he hadn't been here for practice, any of our film, our game prep, any of our scouting. But absolutely, he's one of our quickest, longest defenders. But again, if you told me, hey, we're going to hold Xavier to 59 points in a 40-minute game, I would take that. We need to continue to get better on the offensive end. Thank you.